Hey guys, Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Welcome back. I want to talk to you about where things are going with the industry. Right now, we're still working from the old business model, but the landscape has changed. This is the opportunity for entrepreneurs to step in and claim their own. The challenge is we don't have any entrepreneurs out there. We got a bunch of wimps. No offense. We've got a bunch of people who want to be successful. We've got a bunch of people who desire to make the money. We've got a bunch of people who want to have something more in their life, but yet they just can't seem to get it done. They're stuck. You know why? Well, I'll tell you why. You're not going to believe me, but maybe you will. All of us are limited only by what is up here. And so we go through life, we grow up, our parents are our examples. This is all we know. We don't know how to manage money. We've always been taken care of. We don't know what suffering and growth is. We don't know what failure is. And then we move off into employeedom. And so as an employee, we're forced to up our game and to be this person doing these things that are outside of our comfort zone, and this becomes our new comfort zone. So we've been molded into something a little bit more. But still, we're not entrepreneurs. We're not business people. We have the example of an owner, hopefully a good owner. And now we want to be off and be our own business owner, and we want to be self-employed, and we want to do these many things. But guys, that transition, gosh, I wish I knew this back in the day. That transition brings requirements. It requires growth. It takes work. And if you are a technician that basically you're self-employed, you don't own a business, and this is what you need to hear. You may not like this very much. I see it every day. We meet with these business owners, young business owners. You know, what do I do? I'm stuck here. And we start having these conversations, and we tell them what to do, and they go, oh, yeah. And they don't do it. Well, that don't work. I've been doing this for 30 years in my market, and you can't do that around here, and on and on and on. Guys, as long as you allow the world to dictate who you are, then you'll never be more than you are. You'll always be compressed and conformed into this limitation, this limited version of yourself. But if you want to grow to the next level, you're going to have to grow it up here. And that requires rewiring, reprogramming. It requires growth. It requires exercises. It requires disciplines. You're rolling into work at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning thinking you have a business. You don't. If you're out there fighting that battle over price thinking you have a business, you don't. You're down there in the mud with the rest of them. You should have a competitive advantage as a business owner. And if you don't, why not? Be competitive advantage. We all do heating and air. Come on. Liven up. There's more to this. If you want to stand apart, then stand apart. But if you want to follow the herd, and you know where the herd goes. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got a lot of information these days, and a lot of things have been adapted and learned. And now you're either in the dark, you're out there fighting over that same bone, or you're doing it just like everybody else, that business model. An entrepreneur is different than an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur needs systems like a franchise, things that they follow, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. An entrepreneur steps out there and they do it differently. And their competition says, oh, you can't do that. That won't work. And they do it anyway. And they change the game. All of your frustrations, everything that you're dealing with is you. And Pete loves you. You know that. But this is what we need to be talking about. Right now is one of the greatest opportunities in HVAC. There's not enough people coming in here. There's not enough quality companies out there. And all we want to do is bitch and moan about it. When are you going to step up and say, my gosh, the land is rich with opportunity? I know you're not getting as many employee opportunities or employees as you could be. So what are you going to do about that? How do you adapt? Where do you go? What is your competitive advantage? What should you be doing differently than everybody else? How do you reveal your HVAC greatness in a way that your customers or prospective customers or ideal customers or best customers can perceive it and say, I want this company. I want this guy. I'll pay more because he or she or they are different. They are cut above. And being the oldest and the fattest and the most established is not going to be enough as we go forward. You must be different in a positive way, and that requires work. Well, Pete, how do I do that? We need to get guidance. We need to follow a program. We need to rewire these limitations, raise the bar, and get you off your soft butt and just harden it up a little bit. Where are the alphas? Where are the men and strong women? Where are you? Oh, I don't want to fail. It might not work. I mean, really? Where do you think success comes from? It comes from failures. If you aren't down there making mistake after mistake, how in the world are you going to get it right? I've been in this game going on 8 years, and it's like a slap in the face every day. You know? Doing it is one thing. Helping others to do it, it's a totally different thing. This is difficult. How do I get you to get this? What does it take to, and I know you've got self-confidence, many of you, because you've had your own successes. You have your own opinions. That's fine. Go with that. But you're going to have to strike that balance. Trusting myself, trusting in others, and figuring out a new way, a better way. My buddy Gary Ellix, I say my buddy, we go way back to Lennox. He used to come out and ride with us and talk and call on dealers. I was a Lennox territory manager when I sold my business. And he would talk to you guys like you're a piece of crap. And it was tough on your egos. But he shoots straight. Why? Because he knew what he was talking about. He'd been there. He'd done that. He could tell you, you don't know how to run your business. You don't know what you're doing. You need to do this. You need to do that. And so he wasn't a people pleaser, right? He wasn't where he didn't care if you liked him or not. He just told it like it was. The problem was he was right most of the times. And don't get me wrong, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I had dealers tell me, Pete, you can come back anytime. You leave that Gary back at the office. Don't bring him, And, that's right. Yeah, not everybody can stomach, the truth. But the world is not soft. The world is getting harder and harder, and you, therefore, must adapt. You must be moral and ethical and honest. You must have these values if you're going to be successful. But you also must be strong and determined and not care what everybody else thinks. You find your competitive advantage. You find your unique marketing opportunity. You find what sets you apart from everybody else, and you develop that, and you promote that, and you learn to market that, and you do the things that others aren't willing to do. In short, ladies and gentlemen, this is not easy. It's not for everyone, but those of you who apply yourself, you're going to do well. You're going to do well. We call it the HVAC X Factor. What is yours? What is that one thing that if we do the work and dial into, that we could bring to the top and set you apart in your market? And it's more than a brand. It's more than a truck wrap. I've told you this 100 times. You don't have to be the biggest. In fact, I venture to say the very best of you will not be the biggest. You may only have a handful of employees. You may just be by your... Anyway, Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Spreading that tough love this morning. Y'all take care.